This video is a part 2 from my first video, What Happened to the Candy Dog Ice Cream Truck. For those of you who didn't watch that video, I drove past an old house from my old neighborhood, reminiscing about wonderful childhood memories about an old ice cream truck that sat behind this house. So in that video, I worked up the nerve to knock on the door of the old Candyman's house, and the current owner told me that she couldn't tell me any of the history of the house or the family that lived in it. So I asked the question, if anyone had any information about the old Candyman, let me know. And I got the answer in my comment section from friends and family of the Johnson family. One comment in particular was from the grandson of the Candyman, and he invited me to interview his mother, and that's what I did.
Can you tell me your name and who are you?
I'm Beverly Johnson. My nickname is Candy. I'm the daughter of William Johnson, and he was the owner of what they call the Candy Dogs. And we had an ice cream truck on the side of the house, in the back of the house, where we sold candy and other things. But before that time, we sold candy from a window of the porch of the house, and later on we did in the backyard. And as we got older, the government allowed us to have a truck in the back of our yard to sell the candy since he was blind. I have my nickname is Candy. I have a sister named Peaches, Penny, and Cookie, and Patsy, and Ike, and Junior, and Ricky were my siblings. And we all lived in that house at 5300 F Street Southeast. And at the time, when I was little, we only had 2 bedrooms in the house. So all the kids slept in one bedroom. The girls in one bed, and the boys in the other bed. And my mother and father had a bedroom. And we always had an aunt and cousins and other people living in the house with us, although it was just 2 bedrooms. Later on, my father added 2 more bedrooms, and I had a room to myself because my sister was scared to stay in the new room with me, so I ended up having a bedroom to myself.
And so where did the name Candy Dog come from?
Well, we sold the candy, and we had dogs in our yard, 2 or 3 dogs, so the kids just started calling it Candy Dogs. And when I was younger, I was really upset because my nickname was Candy, and I took it personal. And I was grown before I finally understood that it was something the neighborhood kids gave us, and it wasn't about me. But as a child, it really used to bother me. People say, "Are you the Candy Dog?" And so now they come to me and they ask me now, "Oh, I know you the Candy Dog." And I say, "Yes, I'm the Candy Dog." So I've embraced that part of my life as far as Candy Dog. It's kind of hard when you're young and they say Candy Dogs and your name is Candy.
Yeah. Did the candy truck have an original name to it?
Well, my father, his business was called Johnson Variety, because we sold, later on and after the riots, we started selling canned goods, meats, sanitary products, all toilet paper, everything. We started selling everything after the riot because all the stores in the area had been burned down. So everybody came to my father with all this stuff from the neighborhood because they didn't have cars, a lot of people. So we was making really good money after the riots.
So where did that blind man get the idea to start selling stuff?
Well, if you was from DC, you would know that back in the days when people were blind, they were vendors. And in the government buildings downtown, they had blind vendors in the building downtown. And they would sell stuff out of the government buildings. But my father, because he had so many kids at home, they allowed him to do it from his house. And so, and when other trucks had to move every day, they allowed him to stay in one spot. But in the beginning, we did move the truck from place to place. In the beginning, we would go from this place to Berry Farms and all across the Southeast DC in the beginning. But later on, he just kept in that one spot because it kept breaking down. Instead of getting repaired, it was easier to let it stay in that one spot behind our house.
So how did he get the truck? Where did he get the truck from?
He bought it from someone, I can't remember. He bought the truck.
Is your family from DC?
My father's from Aikens, South Carolina, but he's spent all of his adult life in D.C. My mother's from D.C.
And what is DC like now versus when you was a kid?
Oh, it's just a different place. As a child, we could leave our doors unlocked, and we just had everybody knew everybody, and if you got in trouble, the neighbors would punish you too, and talk to you and whatever. It was just a fun time, and when you had a fight, it was a fight. But now it's different. People are killing each other. It's just so sad. It's just a horrible place right now for me and other people, because it's so much crime now, and you can't leave your doors unlocked at all now and whatever. But and people don't know each other like they used to know each other. The big communities that we had back then, it was communities. Everybody knew everybody, and they worked together.
So what's your favorite part of DC?
My favorite part of DC is so many benefits from being in DC, and so many places to go, like museums and the White House and the Capitol, and it's just a lot to do in DC. And they give, as far as benefits, we have the tax credits for the seniors. I know that when I got ill, they came to my house and put in stuff to help me to be more mobile and whatever. It's just a lot. They just do a lot. The government does a lot to help its people. So if you need help, it's no excuse when you're in DC. Oh, as far as jobs and training, there's so many job training programs in DC. There's a lot of jobs that you can get in DC. And we have the government here, the federal government and district government, but people don't take advantage of it. But if you need any assistance in DC, it's there for you. I remember back in the day when you get put out of your house or apartment, they would take your furniture and put it in storage for you. Now, I don't know how many cities would do that for you. So it's a lot of benefits to live here if you fall on bad times. Help is here.
Okay, who are the people in the picture?
This is my mother, Gloria. This is my father, my sweet dad. This is my Uncle Herbert, who gave us the house that we lived in. My grandmother had asked him to let my father have that house, because it was his house at first. This is my oldest sister, Cynthia, nicknamed Patsy.
Tell me about your father.
My father's name was William Johnson, and they call him WC. A lot of people call him WC. And he was a very kind man. He used to help the people in the community buy them shoes and give them food and other things. And he would give money to the recreation center and the churches to help out in the community. He was born in Aiken, South Carolina, but he spent most of his adult life in Washington, D.C. Someone came to the truck one day and was trying to rob the truck, and he came out the door to see what was going on, and someone shot him, and he fell back into the door, and he had fell into a diabetic coma, but he actually died from gunshot wounds. But he was a very, very kind man, and everybody in the neighborhood knew him, and they came to him often for food and different things. And it was really a shock that they would kill him knowing that he was blind like that, because everybody knew also that he was blind and from that neighborhood.
When did he die?
He died in 1977, in December of 1977. And I remember the funeral, and I call it the coldest day of my life, because I was 6 months pregnant, and it was rainy day. His funeral was on a rainy, cold day, and to bury a father on a day like that, especially after he was murdered like that, it was so sad. And after he died, I remember the mayor, Barry, came out to the house with a full sheet cake, and we got enough money from the community to bury him, because we didn't have insurance for him, but my mother got enough money through donations to bury him, because the community came out in very big support for him.
Where is he buried?
He's buried over in Suitland, Maryland.
And so what happened to the ice cream truck in the house after he died?
Well, I worked on it for about 3 or 4 months while I was pregnant. And then after I had my baby, my younger brother, they call him Ike, he took over it.
And what happened to Ike after that?
Well, Ike did it for about 4 or 5 years, and then he just let it just go. And after that, Ike passed away probably, I think it was 2010 when he passed away.
And so what happened to the house?
The house is still there, and I would really like to one day go over there and just walk through the house and see my old room and whatever. And it was a small house, but it had a lot of love. And my father, he would always be there with us, because my mother would be out shopping or whatever. And I remember one day he came up to us and had a mirror. He said, "Oh, who's that handsome man in the mirror?" And we all laughed because we knew he couldn't really see himself. But he was such a kind and loving father. And he was so proud of me to make good grades and to go away to school and whatever. He was always so proud of me. And when he died, we were like best friends when he died. I would come over every day, and the day he died, I had been over there all day with him and had went and got him a Christmas tree and brought it back and left. And in the meantime, I found out he was shot and killed.
So when did you sell the house?
Well, I went to Mississippi to go and teach school in Mississippi, and I was a part of the deed at the time. And my mother had the house, and she had a tax exemption, but then she wasn't living there. So because she was not living in the house itself, the government stopped the tax exemption, and she had taxes that were overdue. I had no idea. And when we found out, the tax was about $20,000, and we didn't have the money to pay it. But a neighborhood friend that knew us, he bought it, and he was very generous. He gave her, a nice little sum for it, because we could have just lost it all the way out. But because he knew us, he did give her money, money on the house. He bought it. He paid the tax and then still gave her some money, which was very nice of him.
What was it like living in the Candy Dog house?
Oh, we had a lot of fun. There was a lot of us, so we never bored. We played a lot of games and came outside and played out in the street and stuff. And it was, we used to slide down the hill on the bread trays, so it was a good time.
What was it like living in this neighborhood?
Oh, it was wonderful, because everybody knew everybody, and I went to visit people, and we had dinner at their house and stuff, and we just walked to school together and came home together and played jump rope, and we played kickball out here and all kinds of games out in the yard and on the steps and whatever. So it was a nice time.
I brought Ms. Johnson back to her old neighborhood and her old house to see all the changes that's happened over the years. And we all can see the progress of the container homes being built next door. The contractor wouldn't let us in to take a sneak peek at the progress, but one of his workers did tell us that the 2 new houses were 3 bedrooms and 2 baths without a basement, and most likely the asking price will be around $500,000. Ms. Johnson said the original Candy Dog house was a 2-bedroom home without running water, a wood-burning stove, and an outhouse in the backyard. She also said the water had to be carried from a water pump 1 block away, where these houses now sit. She remembers the area from her childhood as having more trees, less houses, and no paved roads. She attended C.W. Harris Elementary School the year the school opened for her 6th grade year. She attended Evans Junior High School and then eventually graduating from McKinley Tech High School. Many people in this small community consider the Candy Dog house and the ice cream truck that sat behind it a Washington, D.C. landmark. Mr. William Johnson was a blind man in Southeast D.C. serving his community with an ice cream truck, and he was assassinated by a criminal that most likely knew him. Here's a salute to Mr. William Johnson, known as W.C., the Candy Man, a man whose contributions to his neighborhood has made a mark on D.C. history, and to his daughter, Miss Beverly Johnson, and her brother Ike, along with other family members and numerous friends, for helping to continue his legacy. He and his family will truly be remembered. I can honestly say that you added good memories to my childhood. And I can also say that my favorite Facebook comment written was this one. Look, y'all, we've made it on YouTube.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm Dickie D, your DC tour guide, and I would like to thank you for hanging out with me in another DC neighborhood. And I will see you in another video.